Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today. Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bowhunter Chronicles podcast, brought to you by Huntworth. Huntworth gear for all types of weather, all types of terrain, all types of budgets. It's clothing that just works. Check them out at huntworthgear.com. Also, this year we're going to be working with Yellowstone trail cameras, Yellowstone.ai. And if you haven't heard of those, go back, look at our podcast we did with them, Nate and I. And Ben's just a great guy, great company, actual customer service where you get to talk to a person, as well as the best warranty in the business, warranty for the lifetime of you, not the lifetime of the camera. Very competitive rates, data based on, it's not by the picture, it's by the data that you use. So there's different data plans. If you have more than one camera on the same plan, the data is shared. So if you have one camera that's using more pictures, more data it can share from the others. If you want HD pictures, it comes from it just uses more data, so you don't have to pay extra or anything like that. It's just going to use the data faster. But you can request those videos. Very interactive app, so check that out over at Yellowstone.ai. This week's podcast, we're kind of piggybacking off of last week. We kind of had some bold claims last week. We said, okay, well, we're going to go turkey hunting this last weekend. And Nate and I both killed turkeys. Well, I took Frank out, and I said, we're going to go kill one of these turkeys. We did just that. Wild hunt, crazy story, super fun. And then Nate was able to kill a turkey as well. Kind of snaked his son, shot one, not necessarily right out from under him, but I think his son learned a very good lesson there. Fun conversation, and then getting into some of that tack talk. So we're going to be at the Crystal Mountain Tack. For you guys that are headed up to Boyne this weekend, have fun. It's going to be great. I believe Austin's going to be up there with Genesis 3D with a booth set up there. I'm not sure if Latitude's going to be up there. I haven't gotten a good answer from Nate. He's been talking with Aaron about whether they were going to be up there or not. I have not heard. So trying to coordinate with those guys. And but yeah, so stop by, say hi to Austin. But we're going to be at the Crystal Mountain Tack in a couple weeks here. Really looking forward to that. Greg Litzinger's coming in with us. Austin's going to be shooting with us. John's going to be up there. Uncle Frank's going to be up there. We're going to be doing the cookout Saturday. If you were at Crystal 2 years ago, we're staying in the same house that we were there. Hit us up on Instagram. A bunch, if not all, of the Rome guys are going to be up there, plus a few of the Rome podcast guys as well. I'm trying to get Skeeter up there to hang out with us. A few other guys. So the house is going to be bustling. Going to be a fun time, as always. Deer camp in June. Just some of the funnest stuff. Something that we look forward to every year. So hope to see you guys. Fun podcast, as always. Thanks for listening. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bowhunter Chronicles podcast. Adam Miller, Nate Roosevelt back again. And Nate has just earned a new title. He is the Chief Information Officer. He is the technological guru for the Rome podcast here. We've just spent the last hour and a half trying to troubleshoot his audio video setup, which really shouldn't surprise me, I guess, at this point.
Crash and burn, dude. Like, this technology stuff sucks.
Oh, my
3 years
goodness.
into it, you think I'd have it figured out, and just when everything's going good, I get about a month, and then something else comes up. So I'm afraid I might need a whole new computer, Adam.
Yeah. Well, it's par for the course. I think I have like 4 of them. So, and it's just as soon as they start to lag and all that stuff, it's like, oh, well, here we go. I guess it's time. And it's always like the most inopportune time because you're like, yeah, we're doing this live stream from the NRC meeting next week, right?
Yeah, next week.
So
computer took a dump.
So if anybody knows anybody in the computer industry, get offloading a computer here.
Can I get? I'll do some research. Can I upgrade my MacBook Pro that's like a 2018 to a new enough software to run the newest Google Chrome? We'll see.
Yeah, I would say no. And I mean, if you're only using it for this, it would seem like, I mean, if you're literally, because of that, I mean, for me, mostly this is just what I use. I would think that just because you're required to use Chrome, like a Chromebook would probably be like the cheapest, easiest, simplest way to go. But I'm not a computer guy. But yeah, anyway, I feel like the last words you said on last week's podcast was go kill that turkey, I think is what you said in the morning. And the poison ivy on my hands, arms, and face. But I think this is the first time I've had it on my face ever. Not bad, thank God. At least so far. It keeps popping up here and there. But it says that we went out and we got after it. And it was probably like one of the more, I think Frank said it was probably like one of the most memorable hunts he's been on. So
good.
It was something. So
are you a guy that gets poison ivy pretty much every year, or?
Oh yeah, I'm about a week late, to tell you the truth. I have it usually. I mean, it's just easier for me. Like, I don't like vegetables, so it's just I eat vegetables so infrequently. I just say that I don't eat vegetables. It's just easier to say it that way. So with poison ivy, it's easier for me to say, like, I have poison ivy from Memorial Day to Valentine's Day. And I'm about a week late,
Yeah.
So
I so far, knock on wood, no poison ivy for the year, but I may have a little spot in my leg popping up today, and I'm like, oh gosh, please don't be it. But yeah, it's usually I walk in the woods, I get poison ivy. It doesn't seem to matter time of year. I could get it in November, I've got it in February. It doesn't matter. I get poison ivy.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. This isn't even like really bad. I've got it on my hands and like a little bit on like this my side, and I've got some on my legs and a little bit on my face.
So what were you doing? Crawling through some bushes after turkeys or what?
No, I honestly, where it's at, like on my hands, like where his turkey ended up dying, or like where I picked it up, Frank was like, be careful, there's a bunch of like 3-leaf things down there. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, that looks like poison ivy. But like in the moment, like I completely forgot about it. And it wasn't like big poison ivy. It was like all the like little like leaves and stuff. And like now, obviously, I remember him saying that, and like it's just like on the tops of like in between my fingers on the one side and like on the top of my hand. So it was like when I reached down, like that's where it was. Then I have some like on like right here and right on the bridge of my nose. So it's like I like with my hands like touch my sunglasses and put my sunglasses on, and like that's exactly where it's at. And then like I don't know, like somewhat along my belt line and wherever. just the normal places that you get poison ivy. I mean, and it's so funny because it's not keeping me up at night. Like it's not giant splotches of poison ivy. Like it's not a big deal. Like most people, I think like normal people get like a little bit of poison ivy and they're like, oh, I got poison ivy. And I'm just like, yeah, it's blistered, but it's not.
Dude,
It's nothing's bigger than like a $50, so it's nothing big.
yeah, when it's like over like all your back and belly, and you can't sleep at night because it's itching so bad and it's oozing, and yeah, that's like I don't know if it's poison oak when that happens or if it's just a really bad case of poison ivy, but I've had it bad in the years past. So a little bit on the hands, a little bit on the face, and you can go about your day and not to think about it. Yeah, we're good.
The
It's
worst
fine.
was when I was in Missouri. Like I climbed this tree in the dark, and it had this vine on it, which now I know is like, yeah, it's vine. Of course, it's poison ivy. But real memorable hunt. There was a deer that I probably should have shot, and great hunt. But at the time, like I don't do it anymore. I would walk in and out, or mostly out, with my tether draped over my neck. And so my tether, right, was around this tree and that vine. And so like my entire neck, like the entire back of my neck was just all blistered up. And it was terrible. That was a bad one.
So it's November 7th. It's whatever, November rut hunt somewhere. You're like, I have to be in that tree. And you walk up to it, it's all full of poison ivy. Are you climbing the tree or are you moving on?
Um, that was that day. I mean, I think you're almost to the day. That was that day.
Well, you didn't know it was poison
I
ivy
didn't know
until
it
you
was
were
poison
up
ivy.
there. But like if you were to
No,
repeat that and knew it was poison ivy, would you find a different tree or would you
I
hunt
would
that
find a
tree?
different tree, and
Amen.
I can tell you that because this year, like the day that I missed that buck the 3 times, I told you I had to be in this tree, and that tree was
Yep.
completely covered in poison ivy, and I stood there for like 20 minutes and stared at it and looked, and then I got in a different tree, and the different tree was fine, but I would have been way better off in the other tree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, same thing, man. If I'm somewhere and it's like I love that tree, you're 50 yards away, like sneaking up to it. That's a tree I gotta be in, and I get there, it's a vine, poison ivy, something. It's like, oh, this isn't the tree. Wasn't meant to be for this ginger to kill a deer out of that tree because I'm going elsewhere.
I did when I was in, um, I think it was Missouri. Um, because I think I only hunted Missouri. It's weird because I guess it was Missouri. And I think I only hunted Missouri once. Um, I did hunt out of a honey locust tree.
The
That was
spikes.
that was an interesting climb, also, but it was the only tree. Um, there were no options.
I hate those trees too. They
Yeah,
get you good. You're walking around and you're like, oh yeah, that's some branches, and you're not paying attention. You grab a branch and you get stabbed one of those things. Those things burn.
but yeah. So that's how I got the poison ivy this time. But so you and I talked, and we are like, I told you, I was like, I'm gonna go kill this turkey, or I know where there's turkeys that are killable. And so I was, what honestly, it's always hit or miss with Frank, like whether he's going to get up and go. So I got up. I didn't have very much sleep, like little sleep, and he shows up, so we go. Of course, we got to go. And he's like, "What time do you normally get in there?" I'm like, "Well, it's usually pretty early, but in true Frank fashion, we got to go get gas, and we got to go get snacks, and we got to go here and there and everywhere." And so we finally get back in there, and we had it all like mapped out the night before. We weren't sure like which one of these two. Again, same thing when I was going in there on the other side off of Jake's directions. Which two tracks you could actually get down, which ones were gated off, and kind of what was going on. So we had like two options, and we took the second option, and it was about a half a mile walk to the trail, and then it was another half, 3/4 of a mile walk to like where this spot was. And we get there and it's pretty much daylight almost. And so we didn't hear any birds gobbling, anything. There was nothing. Got out of the truck and there was fresh gobbler tracks right at the truck. So we called a little bit there, no answer. And we'd walk a few hundred yards, call, nothing. Walk a few hundred yards, call. And, Frank not being, in the greatest of shape, he's like, well, maybe we should sit here and call for a while. We know there's birds in here. And I'm like, we need to get to like, the birds are a long ways away. I mean, I know that we can hunt these birds on the way back, but like looking at the time, looking at when these birds were the most active was first thing in the morning, because I was on the other side of the river,
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. So
Like how much farther, like how far away do you feel like you are from where you need to be at this point?
oh, we're
A mile, half mile, 3/4 mile? What do you think?
Yeah, we're a mile from where we need to be. So, but he's he's killed a lot of turkeys, and he kills them with the sit and call and listen. He kills a lot of birds in the woods. So he'll go to an area where he's confident there's birds. He's confident in his calling. So he'll call in birds that, don't gobble. He'll call in birds, and they're not gonna. He's not gonna hear them gobble a long ways away. All of a sudden, and this will come into play a little bit later. But he'll sit down, call a whole bunch. Sit there for a half hour, hear nothing, hit the call one more time, and there'll be a bird 100 yards away, because it's trying to figure out like what happened. That's a big part of his strategy, is like create a big ruckus and then let the birds try and figure out what the heck that was and want them to come investigate. Well, we get like all the way down, we're get to the half mile mark or whatever, where we're about to turn to get to the other trail to go to where we need to. You come up over this rise, and it's beautiful. It looks like elk hunting. Like we're on this 2-track. It goes down into this like meadow. It looks like an old like burn. There's cedars and pines and brush piles and all sorts of stuff. And I just hit the mouth call, and this bird answers, boom, right there. And we kind of look at each other and go, oh my God, that bird's close, So he runs up to one of these brush piles, and he gets away from him to get set up. I pull my mask up, move back a little bit, and call. And the bird gobbles. Hammers right on top of it. I call right up back over him. And, I just wait. And and in this situation, it's kind of interesting for me because, Frank's usually calling for me, or like usually we both have a tag, so I'm never calling for him. Like, it's always he's, we're always like in this together, and he's running the show, or he's just calling for me, And so I'm just kind of like watching him, and sometimes he'll give me some hand motions to like call some more or like whatever. But otherwise I'm just doing whatever I feel like. And then all of a sudden he's kind of like looking around, and then he crawls back down to me, and I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, I wasn't comfortable up there and I couldn't see, so I figured I'd come back down here by you. So whatever, man. So I just keep calling, and then all of a sudden there's a hen that's coming right to us. I can't see her, but she's cutting and clucking and just, so I'm just going right back at her. We're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for probably 10 minutes. And you can tell that she's like worked past us, and then she's turn, circle back around, and then like I'll stop for a minute. She'll keep going, and then I'll just come right back over the top, and then that bird will gobble, and you can tell he's just following her around. She's just pulling him around. And so he's just probably strutting right behind her, and then she got like right up basically just on the other side of the brush pile where he was. And I don't know if she saw us or what, but she shut up real quick. I mean, she was like mid cut and just stopped. She didn't alarm putt or anything, but she just stopped. And so I just kept on doing my thing. And then I think Frank got out the slate call and called a little bit. Like they weren't answering to anything other than like the super raspy mouth call. Like no slate, no box call, nothing. So that was interesting.
Are no decoys out, right? Like
No.
You're just sitting there in the opening. Like, are they within 100 yards?
Oh,
what do you think they are?
I would bet you when that bird first gobbled, he was probably 120 yards away, because by the time we got around, like you could see like the way that the land laid out. I bet you he was 120 yards away, and I bet you he was within 80. He's probably closer than that. I bet you that hen was probably about 30 yards away from us on the other side of the brush pile.
So maybe she looked over, didn't see anything, and just kind of moved off, you think?
No, I think she, and that's one thing what I was talking about like last week is like, my big ass trying to come down the bank, right? They're looking and you're making all this noise. And so they're looking for any movement. And if you're, two big blob Sasquatches sitting in a 2-track, laid up against this berm, any movement or something that doesn't look right, they're gonna, and that's probably what happened. But then I was able to get her to start calling back again, and then he gobbled again. And then Frank started to, because like I said, came up, like crested this like hill. It was like going down towards the river. So he started to slide down the 2-track, and he said when he slid down the 2-track, all of a sudden he heard an alarm putt, and he said it was like 80 yards away, and he just seen this bird, big black bird running away. And he said he didn't realize that was that tom that had worked and circled down below us. And, in hindsight, if he'd have just been on the other side of that brush pile and sat there instead of coming back by me, like I think we probably could have killed that bird.
Got him.
And he's like, oh, that's on me. My fault.
No big deal.
Yeah. So we walk off, and the on this federal land they've got all these like pushed up. Not that, like, I don't know if they're putting in food plots or what, but they've cleared a bunch of like these big openings. And so we go through one of these openings, and it's weird because we haven't really seen too many turkey tracks in them. There was a couple like on our way back. I think after we had run that tom and that hen off, we went on our way. When we came back through, there was a tom track and a hen track right there, maybe like 150 yards from where we run them off. So they probably just came right back through there. Well, we keep going, and we go, maybe halfway, maybe a quarter of a mile, and there's these big boulders. And Frank's like, I'm tired, man. We're sitting on these boulders. Sits down for a while. And
like, what time is this? Is this like an hour in the daylight, 2 hours in daylight? Where are we talking?
I don't know. This is probably like, that had to have been this is probably like 7:30 when he's taking his break,
It's been light for 2 hours.
Sometime around there, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe 7. I don't know. So he takes a break for a little while. We call a little bit, nothing. So we go, and right where I'm going to get to the end of this deal where I'm going to turn, and there's actually a trail that goes right down to the river. And that trail, it turns out, is where I'm pretty sure that bird that I was calling to the week before was, I think he was just strutting up and down there, because it was like a little 2-track, and there was some sun, and like it was like a good area for him to be. And when we got up there, like something took off out of that opening. There were some dust bowls right there. And I went running up there and I couldn't see what took off, but something black took off out of there. So I was like, man, I don't know if we ran a turkey off out of there or what it was, but I couldn't see. And I was like, well, we may have just screwed that up. So we go get down there, kind of sneak in there and sit down. And we did the same thing. Like, like I said, Frank, he's like, well, let's call for like 5 minutes. And we just gave him everything we had, like mouth calls, box calls, flates, 5 minutes of just the whole shebang. And then he's like, we'll just shut up. Then we'll sit here for a half hour, see what happens. So that's what we did. And, about 20 minutes, and I'm just going to sleep, basically. That's what I do when I'm turkey hunting with Frank. I'm not hearing anything. Nothing's going on. I'm just sitting there snoozing off. And then Frank turns around and he's like, hey, I hear something. So I'm thinking he heard like a gobble maybe far off or something. But he's not like calling. He's not doing anything. And so now I'm like awake and kind of looking. And we're, again, like I said, this 2-track goes down in the river. And there's this like little basin thing. There's a log right there in front of us. And I'm sitting there and I look and I see something like a little black coming up. And I'm like, oh man, maybe it's a turkey, And then I see that it's an ear. Then I see that it's like the top of a head. And then I see like a snout. I'm like, oh man, is this a dog? No, it's a freaking black bear at 15 yards. Just wanders on by, not a care in the world. Wind's blowing right to him. And it was like just a, smaller, like we figure it was probably a smaller male black bear. But I got a little bit of video on the 360 camera.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the hell? Like the last thing that I ever expected to see, right
bear.
there. Yeah. This is,
And last year you were in the UP turkey hunt and you saw a bear.
Yeah,
so
same
like, what's
thing.
going on?
I don't know. I was telling my buddy Bill, I said, he's like, yeah, I put in for a bear. Put in for a bear. I said, you need to bring me, just sit me out there like a bear magnet. It's like, good God. So, we get done with that and it's just like, me and Frank are like, what the hell? It's just super interesting, like last thing that I ever would have expected. Then we go down and we're kind of looking to see like, where the bear came from. Because what he heard the bear like either crossed the river or like came through this creek, but he must have heard the bear in the water. Because when he came up, he was like glistening. He was like all wet. And so we were trying to figure out like, what the heck was going on. And then we were down there and then freaking right over top of us comes a bald eagle. Like, God, it's like National Geographic down here, and then the big polyated woodpecker comes by. Frank's really into birds. He's like, big polyated woodpecker, it makes a noise and like, oh my God, what a cool hunt, So we're on our way back, we're walking back and he's like, well, it's super cool. We had a chance at a bird. I screwed it up and, seen some turkeys, seen a bear, seen a bald eagle. We get back to the rocks, of course, and he said, I got to take a break, right? Got to sit on these rocks.
I love Frank so much.
So I call, bird gobbles right behind us, like right there.
Like following you there. Like he followed you there or what?
No, it was like because it was like, because we had been walking and calling,
Oh, okay. And, so you are calling every so often on the way to the rock pile. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We got nothing to lose at this point. We just seen a bear, bald eagle. Like we we had
our opportunity. Let her rip.
And sometimes that'll happen too, is that same thing. Like when you stop calling, that bird will be like, hey, where did that go? Or like, whatever. But we sit down on these rocks. I'm sitting there and I just call. And then like, I guess it would be like out in front of us, but Frank was sitting down looking at me, but like right back there, right behind him, bird gobbles like boom right now. and it wasn't far away. So we're like, oh man, the bird's close. And we're like kind of like looking around, like we're right on the 2 tracks. We're like, what are we gonna do? So we sit there for a minute, and one thing that Frank has that I don't, he's like really patient about. I think he's probably just screwed up enough turkeys, which I'm learning, like to not, go try and move too close or like whatever, like, you get them to come to you. And this was like probably about 9:00 now by this time. So we sit there for like maybe 5 minutes, just listening, trying to figure out like where we're gonna, like where we think that bird is, if he's gonna come, or if he's, where do we need to get set up, like what's the deal. I call again. Well, back like down by the river, kind of back where we came from, a different bird gobbles. So we're like, well, now we got birds on both sides of us. That bird was a little bit further away, but he still was close enough. Like if that was the only bird we heard, like that bird was also killable. So we're like, well, now we really need to just sit right here because we don't know what the heck is going on. So we just kind of tucked in behind the rocks. Like we moved away from the rocks and just kind of set up on the 2 track. And there was like a little trail that was going down towards the river. So we're like, well, the birds could come up the 2 track either way, or they could come up this trail. And then the one and it was super thick behind us. So it was like, they're not going to come from that way, of course. They're going to come up one of these trails. Well, we get to calling, and the bird that's down by the river is the one that's just took over. He's just gobbling. The bird that's behind us isn't gobbling it at all. And so that bird's like closer, then far away, then closer. So he's back there strutting,
Yep.
But he's still there. He's still answering. And then if we don't call, he's still gobbling. Like, so he's interested, right? And so we're like, we're just sitting there, like, waiting it out. And then I call, we were there for, probably 10, 15 minutes, something like that. Call another time. Bird gobbles like right on top of us. It was the other bird, right? So, well, okay. And so Frank and I are sitting like kind of probably, I don't know, 5 yards apart, 7 yards apart, like kind of like side by side. Like I'm tucked in like a little bit back behind him from the 2 track, but we're like kind of on the same plane along this 2 track. Well, this bird's like back behind him, so I'm thinking it's going to come up. If it comes up the 2 track, it's going to come like right over his right shoulder. He's left-handed, so he's just going to have to let the bird walk right by him and then shoot him point blank, which would be cool. I got the 360 camera in my hand and I'm just clicking it on and off, like as things, transpire. Well, then all of a sudden I start to hear like, it would sound like a hen. And so then I'm just mimicking whatever the hen is doing, like whatever the sounds are, I'm just doing that. And I'm just calling a little bit, just nothing loud, I'm just like a little bit of soft calling. And then all of a sudden, like, it's like right kind of next to us, but like the opposite way of the 2 track, it's back in that thick stuff. And then it sounds kind of like it's back like behind me. So I don't know if it's the other bird coming from the other way. And I just see Frank's eyes get like big as saucers. Like, I mean, like they're humongous. And I see he's trying to like tell me something through his mask. And I see his fingers like playing like the guitar on this gun, trying to get the safety off of this gun or something. He's fiddling around with this gun. And now, mind you, from this point, the bird is behind me, and like Frank is in front of me, so I'm between the bird and Frank. So I'm going like, oh shit, like what is going on here? And so then he's going, he's right behind you. He's right behind you. And I hear like some clucking behind me, and then I hear an alarm putt, and then the gun comes up, and I hear the safety click off, and I just kind of dive out of the way, and the bird got out on the 2-track, so Frank wasn't really shooting at me, but I didn't know which way was going
The
on.
video is so funny.
And he dusted the bird right there in the 2-track, but
How
he was
close was
excited.
that bird to you at that like point? Like 10 yards?
Yeah, it was probably 10.
It looked close to the 360. I was like, dang, that bird's right on top of you guys.
Yeah, well, it probably wasn't 10 feet behind me when it stepped out.
Okay, that's
And
all.
then
So
it angled out, and then it started running when Frank shot it.
Frank was quick. He was quick draw McGraw on that one. You
Yeah.
definitely got some lead down range.
But that's the first one that I've called in for him, so that's pretty cool. I called one in for my dad, and I called in a few birds for my dad, and he's shot one, but I've called in a fair amount.
So what those BBs sound like going by you?
It wasn't even like that. It was just I didn't, I didn't even know if he got him. I didn't know like what was going on. You didn't really react. I mean, I guess knowing Frank, I figure he would have shot a second time like I did, or he'd have been like, son of a bitch, like something like that if he'd have missed. So the fact that he neither one of those was the reactions, I guess I should have realized that he just got him. And it was like a super Jake. It was like maybe like a 5-inch beard, no spurs, but still super cool, except for the part where
did he gobble?
Poison ivy. Oh yeah.
Did he? So he was that bird that was gobbling. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I don't know if when he heard that other bird gobbling, he shut up because he didn't want to get his ass whipped or whatever until he was like right on top of us. Because he only gobbled that one more time. And it was, when he gobbled, it was very close. Like he was probably within 50 yards when he gobbled.
Ooh, nice. Now, so when Frank, Frank, is he 73? How old is Frank again?
73, I think.
73. So do you know what number turkey that was for him?
No, I don't know. I mean, he's only been, I don't think he's killed any out of state. And he's been hunting since they opened it up, which was like, I think like in the late 80s. So
He's probably got 50 birds under his belt.
No, it's probably, I would say it's probably like in the high 30s. Because I know there's been years that he hasn't shot him. But I know that he's called in. I mean, he's called in birds for me. He called the one in for Casey. He's called a lot in for his kid. Those guys come up from Ohio every year. He calls them in for them.
Yep, those stories last year were hilarious.
Yeah, he's called in a lot of birds.
Awesome.
So like I said, it was pretty cool just to be able to have called one in for him. And then, for the one for Stella and for myself, those were on private land, and I felt like they were like gimmies,
Mm-hmm.
And then to do it this way, was cool.
Yeah.
And to see a bear and the eagle.
I would say the bear, the eagle, the whole thing. Like and he shot him late morning. It wasn't like right off the roost. It was getting to midday time.
Yeah, well, if you get to hunting with Frank, that's when he likes to kill birds. In a perfect world, he'll kill a bird at 1 o'clock. Like he said, and again, like he's not a guy that goes and roosts birds at all. He'll go to an area where he knows there's birds. And then he wants like that typical like midday bird that wants to gobble, like that wants. It's like the elk hunting thing where he wants to find one that'll play.
Yep.
Yep.
So. That's cool. That's kind of nice to be able to kind of live vicariously through that in the moment. You gave me a phone call and they're like, you got him. And it's like, you got the bird. And it was pretty cool. And Frank getting their bird under his belt. It's a cool overall story, man. Love it.
Yeah. And that bird. So our birds are in the freezer, and Frank took all the legs, but the breast out of that bird went to his son, and they're gone. Like he took them home, butterflied them, cubed them up, cooked them, made them into sandwiches, and that bird's gone. Done.
Gone. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Nice. Yeah. So you went and killed a bird, just like I said. So it's great.
And then you said, yeah, I might get Henry out or whatever. And you kind of snaked him.
I did. I don't even know how to explain what happened to me other than just dumb luck. I want to say you killed that bird on Wednesday, right? With Frank? Wednesday or Thursday? One of those days?
Yeah, one of those
Wednesday.
days.
And then we knew Henry
Wednesday.
We knew Henry had soccer Thursday and then a game on Friday night. So we knew we weren't going to be able to turkey hunt until Saturday morning. And I can't remember how that Saturday went. Oh, it was went to bed kind of late Friday after his soccer game. Went to bed late after his soccer game and woke up in the morning. It was a full moon night. Woke up early and it was I walked out the side, took the morning pee, and I was like, man, it's kind of windy. And woke HD up and I was like, hey buddy, you want to go turkey hunt this morning? He's like, man, Dad, I'm kind of tired. And this whole turkey adventure with him, I've kind of taken a very not passive aggressive, very not forceful. If he wants to hunt, we go hunting. If he doesn't want to hunt, I don't make him hunt. Deer hunting a little different. Hey buddy, we're going. We're it's opening day or it's time to hunt. We can hunt and don't care how tired you are. We're going hunting. This I've just kind of let him kind of lead the show. And there's been mornings where we could have went, and there's been evenings we could have went, and he just, I'm not feeling it today. And I'm like, hey, no big deal. I was like, you got a long season, but it's gonna end one day. And he didn't want to go hunting that morning, so I was like, all right, well, go back to bed. And we're like, we'll go tonight, and we'll go tomorrow morning, and tonight being the 30th, and then we'll go morning and night on the 31st. And he didn't want to go, so I was like, sweet, Daddy's got a list of things to get done for the day, so I'm gonna get to it. So I started getting chores around the house and wanted to mow the grass. And my dad doesn't live too far away, and he's got the mower, and I put gas in it, and it's a nice 0 turn or whatever. But I go pick it up and bring it to my house, mow, and I've put gas in it for him and me for the week. But anyways, I'm on the way to go pick it up, and out behind my dad's house, I see a gobbler out there strutting. And I was like, holy cow, there's a turkey in the backyard, which is pretty common. We see turkeys back there. I could have shot one 3 years ago back there. I was actually in the barnyard and was leaned up against a disc, and turkey comes strutting by, and it was 55 yards. I was like, I just didn't feel right. And Henry was younger, and I wanted him to watch me shoot one, and it just didn't work out. So turkeys are in and around this area. And where I see the turkey, it's right where they cross the road. Where I live is a wood lot, and where my dad lives, there's a wood lot behind his house. So they kind of go back and forth between those wood lots. And it's I don't know, 9:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. And I see him strutting. I'm like, dude, if I pulled in, and I was like, man, I don't have a turkey tag, but I can buy one digitally now. So I bought a tag and waited for the confirmation email to hit my phone, got out, loaded the shotgun up, and I was like, I'm going to go find this thing. And unbeknownst to me, that turkey was substantially closer than it was when I first seen it. So my hunt was only a couple minutes, but I kind of snuck around the barnyard and did a little hold the phone in one hand and dropped this turkey at 30 yards of the 410. And that was my turkey season for me personally. So I smoked a turkey. I should look at the timestamp, so how long I had a tag for. I would say I had the tag for 5 minutes, maybe less. And it was hilarious. And one of those opportunities that I was like, hey, I've never done this before. If it works, I guess I'm not going to turn it down. And, second to last day, dropped turkey. And pretty funny. Henry was pissed, though. He was not impressed with Dad because all year I've been like, I'm not buying a turkey tag. I'll let you get a turkey first before I buy one. And sure enough, I went and dropped one, and he was happy but sad. And I was like, hey, dude, our season's not over. We still got tonight and we got tomorrow. So sure enough, we go hunting. We'll fast forward. Oh, the bird I got, I don't know what the age or the size of turkeys are, but a 9-inch beard and 1.25-inch spurs. So decent bird, kind of a thin beard. There was one that we'd been kind of watching back there that was I don't know. I liked him because his beard was like really, really wide. And me and Henry got within 40 of that turkey one time, but it wasn't that one. So he let me off the hook a little bit because I think if I had killed that big one, he would have been really upset. But, anyways, we went out hunting that night. Took the whole family, me, Ashley, and Henry went, bought some Little Caesars pizza and go sneaking out to the blind. Sure enough, there's turkeys in the field. And it's like, all right, we got to like do a big loop here. And there I am, Henry and Ashley carrying a box of Little Caesars pizza, trying to walk through the woods. Private life, right? And we do this big loop and get to our blind. And I use some terrain. There's like a little low spot we kind of got through. And I'm like glassing the field edge. I'm like, man, I could see their fans. And there was 2 toms strutting with a hen. And we were within 80 yards of them. And I was like, dude, they want to come into where we are. That's where they roost. So we snuck in the blind. We had like 2 hours before legal light was done. And I called a couple times, but they never gobbled once, never heard them gobble. And I'm like not an experienced turkey guy, which I've said many times, but I like every so often would, try like the box call. I have 3 different mouth calls and I would kind of just like rotate through them and couldn't get him to gobble. And we're like looking at the time, and we our bellies are full of pizza. And I was like, all right, 10 minutes before shooting light, I'm gonna get out of the blind and see if I can glass them up, because like I did not want them to like come in on us and then have us spook them walking out, or mess up the roost if they wanted to roost where we were. And I hop out of the blind, I'm like glassing for them, and those jokers had went the complete opposite way that I thought, and essentially walked in the woods the same exact way we did to get to the blind. So they're, 150, 200 yards away from us, walking the edge, going into the woodlot. And I was like, we have to go right now. So like fireman drill, like get everything out of the blind that we need, and like let's fast walk out of here. And we bailed out of that woodlot and then did a huge loop. We walked so far out of our way because I just didn't want to ruin the hunt for the next morning. So that was cool to see him. Henry was pretty pumped. He got up really quick the next morning. He learned his lesson, I think. And we we got out there early. I kind of knew the turkeys, which I had glassed them when they were in the woods when we were like 300 yards away. I could like see the one tom still strutting through this little clear spot, open spot. So I was like, okay, they're going to be roosting a little farther away than normal on the blind. So we got there early. It was still dark, and I actually picked the blind up. You see that meme when guys are turkey hunting or deer hunting, they like carry the blind to the pop-up blind. They like go across the woods. Like that's what I did. I moved it about 50 yards closer to where I thought they were roosting, and a little bit more open area because I didn't want to have happen what happened with a Jake, a couple weeks before with Henry. And they were just gobbling on the roost, and we're pumped. And I waited till it was like light and it sounded like they were on the ground, and I called and they would return the gobble. And like what you kind of said earlier, is how I felt. Like I would call and hear a gobble over here, and then I would wait, call again, I'd hear it over there. Like he was doing that back and forth thing. And then like it hit a certain time, just quiet, nothing. And it's like, where are these turkeys at? Like there was probably 5 different turkeys gobbling, and they're on the neighbors. So like I can't get any closer to them. They could tell they're on the neighbor's property. And I was like, Henry, let's just sit here as long as we can, and hopefully they expose themselves in a field or something, or we can make a play. If they get on our property, we can hunt. And they just never did. And he made it to about 9 o'clock, and he's like, Dad, I've been sitting here since 5. Like, I'm done. And I was like, hey, that's fine. Let's go get some donuts. Go get some donuts. Like, we'll drive around the block, and we got some other permission pieces. Let's see if we can make a play on turkey. We glassed up a couple hens, but no toms. And then we got donuts. On the way back, we seen just a pile of turkeys right coming out of that wood lot, like 20 turkeys. They're all strutting out there. And I was like, hey, they're in that field. Like, they're probably going to be in that field all day. Let's go back tonight and see if we can have some redemption. And we snuck in there, did the drive around the block, and there was no turkeys anywhere in the field. I was like, hey, they're either in the woods already or they're on that fence line. We should be good for tonight. And sat and sat and sat. And actually, sorry, wrong. As soon as we got in the blind, I hit the call and one gobbled in the woods. And I was like, yes, like this is what we want. And that turkey never gobbled again. I would call every so often, and just nothing until about 15 minutes before legal light was done. I heard I heard a gobble, and I was like, "That where is that at?" And I look out in the field, and like 200 yards away, there's three turkeys. One's a Tom and two Jakes. So I called, and he would strut and then gobble, and then he'd run a few steps, do like a half strut, gobble, and I would call, and he'd instantly gobble, and I was like, "Oh man, he's coming!" Like he covered 100 yards in like no time. Henry's starting to breathe hard. Like this turkey's at 100 yards. I'm like, it's gonna happen, buddy. Like Dad's calling a turkey, and I can't believe it. And they got to about that 100 yards, and just decided that they started paralleling us kind of. And I mean, every time I would call, he gobbled and would strut. And then the Jakes were kind of just hanging out with him. And I don't know why, but he just never wanted to get closer to that 100 yards. Maybe he got to 80 at the closest, and then he hopped a fence line and was on the neighbors, and our shooting light was over. And Henry was a little bummed out, but that was our turkey season. So I would like to think that if you were with me or someone who was more experienced caller, they probably could have convinced him to, commit to us a little bit more. But other than that, that was our turkey season, and officially the most I've ever turkey hunted in my life was this year, and for myself, the least I've ever turkey hunted with a tag in my pocket. So it was a fun year. Henry definitely wants to get a turkey really bad, and we've already talked about how we can maybe hunt a little different next year. But for the most part, I feel like it was a lot of fun, but we didn't get him one. He had his opportunity on a Jake and missed, and that's all we can ask for.
So how do you think, like, at the end of the day, I know you had said you wanted him to struggle and see that it's not just go out there and shoot one in Dad's field 5 minutes after you get your tag, because that's your life.
That's shooting. That's not hunting, is what I told him.
That's your private land. I mean, that's what happened. That's what all them bucks behind you are. So,
Yep.
because we know you can't kill them out of state. You just gone 15 years. 15
I got a
years
European mount behind me that I killed. So the struggle, I think it was really good because we had a conversation Saturday after I shot that turkey. He was a little upset, like, "Well, how come you didn't come get me?" Or how come he like had all these like whys, like could have, would have, should have. And I was like, "Dude, it was the heat of the moment, like time's ticking, right?" And I said, "Hey, like you have to want this. Like I can't want this for you." And I wasn't sure how he was going to take it. Like he was pretty bummed, and then it was as a parent, him being fired up that night and the next day, and rocking on like minimal sleep for a 10-year-old, and staying out till 9 o'clock at night trying to and not even to like back up a little bit. Like when we got done turkey hunt, man, we had to carry everything back to the truck. And the one thing I don't like about turkey hunting, man, you have so much crap. Like I had a pop-up blind on my back. I had a bag full of decoys. I had 3 chairs. I had a tripod for his gun, and I had a shotgun.
And
And
a
the two of us had
pizza.
pizza boxes and monster cans, and we were, it was a pretty far walk. It was probably 500-600 yards across a nice flat field with a little bit of hill. But like there's just a lot of junk, and that little man carried the shotgun all the way back to the truck in his chair, and I was proud of him, right? And he I think he's starting to understand a little bit more. He's a young kid, right? He's had a lot of whitetail success and killed a lot of deer at a young age. And one of those things you're always like as a dad, like how am I gonna make it so this like sticks? Like I want him to, be committed to it. Like, just because it's easy it's easy to keep doing it if it comes easy. And I was like, is this gonna backfire on me with the whole turkey thing? Because to be honest, Adam, like you offered many times, like, hey, I'll take Henry, come with me, or Jake has, and all these people have done it. And I turned down some other opportunities where there was like birds and, on people's property, and just kind of like, hey, let's me and Henry do this and make him, kind of work for it a little bit. And he really handled it well. So I do feel good about that. I think I've kind of like thought about this too, like when he can shoulder a shotgun and not have to have a tripod, I think it's going to really make turkey hunt a little easier for me to like let him kind of do his thing. Like he doesn't really call that much yet, so I'd like him to start calling. Like I'm hoping by next year, that he can run the turkey call a little bit. We can kind of do that whole like what you talked about with Frank, like he's set up in front of me and I can call for him, or we go with you and me and him can sit up in front of you and call for us or something. Like that's kind of like I think the next step for us to kill a turkey, because that's how I killed my first turkey. I shot a Jake when I was probably 13 or 14 years old with a buddy who was a family friend who was big into turkey hunting, and he did that for me. Like I had to shoulder a shotgun by myself. I had to prove that I could, shoot the target at 25 yards, and I shot 12 gauge. And it's like he set me up on a cushion against a tree, and he's like, "I'm gonna call for you, and they should come from over there." And sure enough, they did. And I shot Jake, and that's kind of the experience I kind of want for him, and not have to be in a blind with a tripod and all this other crap going on. Like, let's just go sit in the woods and go chase some turkeys down and have that kind of a hunt. So selfishly, that's what I want as a dad. But he hasn't said he doesn't want to do it again. So I think we're on to something.
So you talked about his early success and how it's like kind of easy and yada yada yada, and you turning down all these things and saying that you want to go out there and do it with him, and the fact that you are said many times that you're not a good turkey hunter or whatever. Do you feel like part of this is like you want to struggle also?
Oh, for sure. Like it's fun to like hunt a lot. Like I said, the most I ever turkey hunted was this year, and it was kind of fun to like go a bunch of times and try to make it happen, fail. Like not trying to say I'm like an amazing hunter, but like up until this year, like I've hunted very little for turkeys. It's like, oh, I want to go kill a turkey. I go hunt, kill a turkey. Like, I got a long season and I just put myself in a position and I can shoot one. And it's not like there's not much of a, I guess like me personally, I don't have like a strong desire to kill a turkey. And now this year, even after what I did with that 5 minute hunt, I was like, it kind of was like funny. Like it's great to have turkey meat in the freezer, and I punched the tag. It's like, do I ever want to do that again? No. Like I don't really want to kill a turkey that easily ever again. And yeah, like for me and my son to bond over that and just have fun doing that and know that I suck at it. Like I I should be a better caller. I should do these things. I just haven't put the effort in to be better at it. And it's like, okay, I got something to work towards, and let's kind of like work on this together maybe a little bit. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to do too, um, because I like spending time with my son, and it's nice out and something that we can do in the spring.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, that you have that perspective, because like that's why I say like, it was fun to do that with Frank, because like I said, like the birds that, you know, is- while super cool, and Stella's bird was I mean, I guess both of them we almost screwed up, but hers, like I could tell she was like super super geeked, and it almost went sideways, and just letting her figure it out. And then for mine, like the fact that I mean, the times that I've hunted out there, I mean, I missed a turkey with my bow, which was very not very similar, but um it was a lot like when what I was talking about with Frank. I had two turkeys coming from both ways, and I got kind of hemmed up just being out in the open with my bow, and I got busted by these hens, but I was able to I did exactly what I ended up knowing I had to do, and I just shot underneath the bird with my bow. But like I say it all the time, like shotgun, they'd be dead. And I almost disproved myself. I had to use some quick work with the shotgun, but same deal. Like, but that wasn't like, I was just sitting there, when you were saying like you had to pack up the blind and you had to do all that stuff. Like I was thinking about like, Henry Schmenry, right? Tell the 73-year-old man that walked 3.5 miles to kill a bird on public land, like how that 600-yard walk with all your pizza boxes and PS5 and all the other stuff, like
no
how
PS5.
terrible it was.
Well,
Um,
not no, I didn't. He doesn't know it's terrible. Like I don't tell him it's terrible at all. I just like personally was like, this is stupid. Like why do I need all this crap? Like that's
no.
how I feel. But yes, I see what you're saying for sure. Like
Yeah, and but I
that's
mean
more
that.
intriguing to me than what I did. Like I just don't like the pop-up blind. Like I never asking you. Like I could literally set this pop-up blind in the middle of this field and they're not going to care. And you're like, yeah, they don't care. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll use a pop-up blind. And like I did not enjoy turkey hunting out of a pop-up blind. Like to be honest, like I don't like that. Was it effective for what we needed to do for him? Yes. But I'm like looking forward to never having to sit in a pop-up blind ever again for turkeys if I don't have to.
Yeah, and like that's what I said. It was like I knew that I could go over there and kill a bird, but it was just going to be like I mean, it was cool, you know. It was I mean, I remember sticking my head out the window, and it was weird because that bird like gobbled really funny, like he gobbled really softly, even when he was close. But like I remember sticking my head out the window, and I was like, man, that bird is coming through the fence, like it's coming through like right out of the windrow. And I was like, oh man,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he's close and just committed. But it's just way different when you're, like I said, those ones that I called in off the roost and they're like right on top of you. Those were all the ones that me and Jake messed up. Like
Mm-hmm.
just completely different feel than, you know, sitting there in a blind. Just like if I just sit here long enough, I'm going to kill one,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Yeah. If we would have sat all like I thought about like our last day, like how could I have got Henry a turkey? It's like, well, we knew they were in that woodlot. We heard a whole bunch of, like I said, five probably toms. Maybe one of them was a Jake. I don't know. But in that woodlot right over there, there's only so many options for him to go. I could have picked up the ground blind, set it right on the property line, and probably sat there all day and got an opportunity. Just mad call, but like, man, like I didn't feel like it was that big of a push to do that.
Well, and the same thing is like you can't force him to do it. Like all the times that I've went with Stella, like I mean, the one time was like I had a pop up blind. We didn't even set it up because we were on public land, and we got in there, walk and call, set the get to the opening, and getting ready to go into the opening. I always do the same thing, same opening, call, and the freaking bird gobbles like less than 100 yards away. And I'm like, well, I can't be just setting up a blind, so I'm like, we need to get over here, get set up behind this thing. And I'm like, but you just hunt until they say that they're done. And she was like, well,
Yes.
it's too buggy. Like so back, so I carried a pop-up blind and two guns and
Yeah.
I don't know if I had just her gun or two guns or what. No, I just had her gun. But two chairs, pop-up blind, decoys, backpack.
Dude, our first turkey hunting this year was so much more fun than our last. Just running after them. Like we're crawling, we're crossing creeks, we're laying eyes on them, and we're like strategizing, and we walked all over the place, and he was giggling, and we were like laughing about army crawling, and we get over to one spot. It's like, oh man, they were right there the whole time. We have to go all the way back over. That was so much more fun for him and me. That I want to do more of that next year, and I think that it's going to be easier to do it. And he should be able to be a little more comfortable with a gun, like and that kind of stuff, to be able to do that because that's fun to me. Like that, that's like chasing them. That like how you explained your hunt with Frank. That seems just like a blast. Like, hey, we got all morning. We're just gonna kind of walk around the woods, take a little nature walk, see some bears, see an eagle, see a woodpecker. Call a bunch of turkeys in, and shoot one and get some poison ivy. Like that's a day. Like that's a day right there.
Yeah. The only thing we were missing, and I'm not sad about it, was ticks. I've only had one tick on me this year so far.
Not
It
bad.
was a little tiny
Huh?
one.
I haven't had any ticks. I don't think they like gingers very much, so I don't get ticks too often. So
Yeah. Um. So coming up, have you decided? You're still up in the air on tack if you're going to be able to make it up there?
Yep, still up in the air. I don't. It's right now leaning towards no, but if I do make an appearance, it'll be Saturday night for some good food and some, hanging out with some boys and having a good time. I'm not shooting. Is Boyne this weekend, or like is
I believe
Boyne
so. Yeah.
first? I
Yeah.
thought about maybe going up, time in my my work day just so on Friday, but I was thinking about maybe swinging up Friday, before, after work, but because I'm up in Traverse City for some jobs. But my grandpa made a phone call tonight, and he got all of his corn and stuff in, and all of his seeding done. So we're food plotting Friday afternoon. So I'm gonna be putting more food plots in Friday. So Boyne's a no go for me also.
Well, you could just skip work.
I could, but I gotta
You're
make some
supposed.
money. I gotta
You're.
buy a new computer now, so I
Yeah.
gotta work.
Yeah. 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 Have you been shooting your bow?
Nope. Last time I shot was with you. My shoulder, man, I hurt it real bad, and not sure what I did. And it's like I've on week 2 with it feeling really good, and I don't want to really mess with it, knowing that tack wasn't going to be a thing I shot at. I wasn't a psycho about shooting all the time, so I'm just taking her easy. I did quite a bit of stuff at work last week, and I was kind of worried about how it was going to react, and it feels great right now. So. I'll probably ramp up the shooting here in the next couple weeks and just ease into it. But I shot really well with you, so I feel good about that. Yeah,
Yeah. I got to get my tapes built. I just built my arrows last night. So
I
got
got
the
this
old.
new recurve sitting up here on the wall that's been asking me to shoot it, and I've been neglecting it too. So I'd love to sling a couple arrows of that too here in the next little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. All right. Well, I I'll tell you offline what some of the things we got in store for
Okay.
tack.
Ooh, I
So
love it. Love it.
so gonna be fun, but yeah. So I don't know. I should find out here probably in the next week or so
I was just gonna ask you
if we
that.
draw Iowa. And then I tried. I haven't got an email. I'll double check. I was trying today earlier to apply for um an antelope tag. Me and Jake are gonna try and get, but it didn't go through. Like I don't know why. It was like wasn't taking my payment. I would like hit the send thing, and it was like, show me all the crosswalks, and then I would show them all the crosswalks, and then it would say don't refresh, and then it would be that way for like 32 seconds, and then it wouldn't go anywhere. So then I'd try and do it again, and nothing went through. So I don't know.
Interesting.
But
Interesting. So you'll know a couple weeks for Iowa. Let's say you don't draw Iowa, but Joe is most likely going to draw because he's got more points, right? You guys didn't do it as a group, or did you
we
do it
did
as a
as a
group?
group.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah. So if
He
I don't draw, he doesn't draw.
he burned a lot of points for you to apply as a group. He must love you.
Or he's an idiot. I mean, I, he said, I just want to hunt with my buddies. And I said, well, I'm not your buddy. But
You're cameraman.
I just said I was going to film you. And I said, I'll hunt my way back. And he's like, no, man, I just want to, it'll be cool. But it's fine. He and I have much different standards. So it'll be really interesting to see. And then I, it'll be really interesting to see, my, filming style, versus his
Mm-hmm.
filming style. And I'll see how mean he is to me.
He won't be mean. Joe's too nice. He just wants to have a good time with some buddies out in the woods.
But first of all, there's two implications there. One, you're implying we're buddies, and then two, you're you're also implying that I was mean to him, and I was just myself. And
Hey, I don't think you're mean. You're just direct.
also, I didn't sign up for a cameraman. He was supposed to go with Eric. And
Yeah, true.
I
True.
did. I mean,
Are you gonna film with his nice camera, or are you just gonna use one
I'm
of
not going to
yours?
film with that. big one.
You don't want to carry
No,
that giant thing around in the woods.
it's not that. It's that like A, there's no way in hell I could run it, and B, like
True.
haven't you seen that like whitetail adrenaline where they drop that one in the lake or like in the
Hmm.
river, like trying to cross that thing? Like I don't want to be responsible for that.
No, true.
Now is
True.
like A74 or whatever, like I could run that. Like
Hmm.
um
Hmm.
that I mean I wouldn't have a problem running that versus running this one, but um either or, like, doesn't matter to me.
Nice. Yeah, we'll have a lot of the Rome guys will have their fall a little more figured out here in the next couple weeks. We got a couple guys drawn Iowa. Skeeter said he didn't get Colorado this year, which he was very shocked by. So I don't. He's talking about maybe going to Missouri. Brian also applied to Iowa, so he should be finding out if he's going. We've been scouting some spots and sending pins back and forth, so hopefully he has a good hunt. He's going to be in Iowa the same time I'm in Kansas, and you guys are going to go that same time, or are you going earlier in November for
I
Iowa? You
don't know.
think Joe doesn't know yet? Okay, kind of
Um,
cool for all there at the same time.
yeah, I mean, I have the 10th through like the 23rd off or something.
Okay, what
Doesn't mean that I'll be in Iowa the whole time, but it's
No,
just I
okay,
have a
got some
pretty big
time.
window.
Got some time. So you've been, I don't want to drag it on more than it has to because it's really late right now. We're into the next day, but what, are you scouting spots right now, or what's kind of, I feel like you're a little bit like me, like, oh, there's some state land or some public land over here. I'll drop a few pins and I'll check it out when I'm in town.
For Iowa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I already put some things together. Like I already have like a couple of things like already that are on my radar. And then I've already like got a line on a place to stay. And then if that works out, then there is a chance that there was a mention of maybe some private land to hunt, which to most people that would be like, oh my gosh, that's exciting. There's like private land in Iowa, but like for me, it just seems like a restraint. Um, and unless it's like 10 trillion acres, like it doesn't.
Yeah.
I would rather, because I forget who I was talking to. Maybe it was when I was talking to you um, about Kansas when I sent you those pins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, was like, I just want to go from here to here to here to here to here and see like whatever's going on. Like, I don't want to have to be stuck somewhere,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
And then just to feel like hamstrung to be like, oh, I have to go here. Or like, I feel like I'm missing something here. Like, you know, you feel like and then if like, I guess if, you go somewhere and somebody gets you access, then do you feel like obligated that you have to take it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What if it's crap?
Yeah. What if it's
Like,
junk? Be like, I can't do it.
yeah,
I
I
can't
got
do
you
it.
that property. You didn't even go there.
Dude,
Like,
it was X amount of
you're
acres. It's got to be
ungrateful.
good. There's a 150 under every tree
Like,
in Iowa.
yeah, I don't know. I'm shooting a
No, I
115 under any tree.
any tree. I'd definitely check it out because you just never know. Like it could be really fun to hunt it that way. But yeah, the property lines in an area you don't know anything about can be a real drag. So that's why I like when I'm out of state. I love running around on public and chunks, and I can go spend days walking places I've never been before. That's a lot of fun. I actually that's a great thing you brought up because when me and my dad we did the you pay trespassing fee on private land, and we had some like we had an 80 here, and then one year we had like 300 acres, and every time I was just like, man, I wish we could hunt some more. Like this just isn't the spot. Like we got to go somewhere else. And next thing you know, it's like we're done doing that. We're just hunting public, and I've had a lot more fun just having that freedom. So shoot, I had a lease one year. We didn't even hunt the lease. We hunted all the public around it the whole time. So
Well, and I think that that's like, I don't know if that's like maturing, like as a hunter, and just being like, I'm just gonna go figure it out, or if it's like just being able to like have the freedom and just say like, I don't know, I'm not just gonna keep banging my head against the wall trying to make this, square peg fit into this round hole.
Yes.
Like if it's not there, it's not there. And like the quicker you realize that, but like I think the more money or resources or whatever you put into something, you're gonna feel the drive to stay there. And I give you an analogy, like, going on vacation or whatever. Like, I feel like if you're from the Midwest and you go stay at all inclusive, like you'll never leave the resort, because why am I going to go out there and spend money on food when I can get everything here? But by day 7, you're like, it's the same food at every restaurant, at everything. Like, I wish I would have went and saw something. But if you just go to somewhere else and you rent an Airbnb where you're forced to go out and eat and see the town or whatever, you're going to have a much different experience, and you're going to see things that you never would have seen if you would have just went there.
Yeah.
And I think
it's a progression of a hunter. Progression of a hunter for sure.
Yeah. But I just think, I don't know if people aren't confident enough, or they're just so like, I mean, you're the worst person to talk about this with, because you're like, you shouldn't even buy a tag. You should just go like, I'm going to go hiking in Iowa. I'm going to go hiking in Nebraska. I'm going to go hiking in Kansas. I'm going to go explore in Kansas. I'm going to go deer watching in Kansas.
Deer watching. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know that they call, like, I think bird watchers is called like ornithology. I wonder what, like, would it be like cervidology, or like, would you be like a cervidologist? Like if he does like just like a voyeur of deer. You just like,
I love watching them.
Nate just likes to watch deer breed. He's just a freaking weirdo.
I want to know when those fawns are born.
Travels all over the country with binoculars. He just watches deer screw in the woods, doesn't shoot them. And then he's like, yeah, they wasn't really what I was into.
Just enjoy the moment.
Freaking creep, man. I never really thought about that.
That's really weird.
Doing.
How many bucks I've seen with does in all these years. Maybe onto something.
Yeah, and you don't shoot them.
Are you
just too distracted?
Yeah, dude. It's just I'm in the moment, lost in the moment, Adam. Lost in the moment. Oh gosh. Hey, I'm gonna be on a tear. I'm gonna up my average. My state average is going up.
Yeah. Are your standards going down?
No, but yes. I mean, that's how I finally killed one. Standards went down, so we'll see.
Yeah. And did your smiles go up? Did your satisfaction go up?
Oh, satisfaction. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Was I satisfied with the year, or satisfied with the? No, I was trying to think, like, satisfied with the antlers, satisfied with the hunt, satisfied with my effort. Like, what part are you asking that?
Well, I think the hunt encompasses the whole thing.
Yeah, I think at that moment in time, excuse me, I was satisfied with the hunt for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got
if I go
and you got up to the animal, you were like, oh my gosh, it's ground shrinkage, and then you're like, oh my gosh, then I gotta call a dog, and then oh my gosh, I gotta cut it up. Like, but in the moment, I was excited. Like
I did not regret that deer one bit. He was what I thought he was, except had no brow tines. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I shot a 150 and he ended up being a 120. Like, I thought he was maybe like almost a 130. He was just like a low 120. So it wasn't that far off. So it was nothing about that. It was more of, if I look at that deer and know what kind of deer I found when I was there, am I targeting a deer like that? If a deer like that steps out day one, am I shooting it? No. Like, that's not what I'm going to Kansas for this time. So that's just kind of how I'm going now. Circumstances change. Things could happen. If I find myself back there in December again, wanting to shoot something on the ground or maybe do a spot and stalk, and that's the opportunity I get, who knows? I'll play it by ear. I'm not going to be as rigid as I have been in years past, but my mindset is to find a buck, a little older, a little bit beefier. That's, mounted a few more does in his life,
You could just so you can
so I can watch him.
weirdo. Um, so what define like what what makes you certain you're going to go on this tear? Like where's the confidence come from?
Oh, the confidence. I've been so close so many times that I feel like I just gotta just take that next step. That's gonna happen.
And what's going to
Like,
lead you to that? Like,
I think going back to the same area again is gonna help. I'm not gonna be as far behind on the figuring it out side of things. Um, I'm really kind of I like hunting a certain way out of state, so I think I'm doing a better job at honing in on areas that I feel like I like to hunt as a hunter, that kind of are conducive to how I like to hunt. Um, so that's good. And then the Michigan stuff, I just feel like that's kind of rinse and repeat a little bit too. Like I've got my kind of Rolodex of spots, and I mean, I feel like I'm pretty confident I can at least get a really good opportunity a year on a nice buck. So that should continue to happen. If I put the effort in and, be consistent, those kind of things, stick to the game plan. And then, if I can, if I can expand the horizon just a little bit more on these off years that you don't draw certain tags, and put myself in a position to keep building on that Rolodex that you're confident in, who's to say I can't do the same stuff out of state that I've been doing in Michigan? That's kind of how I feel. So I feel like I'm just close, man. Close, Adam. Just real close.
yeah, we'll see.
I could go get skunked every day this year too, and I'd still go back. I could not
No,
punch a buck tag this year and be totally fine with it and tell you in 27, dude, it's my year. I'm going on a tear. I'm kind of overconfident sometimes. That's just what I like.
yeah. I don't know. I just feel like, I obviously I like my style, which is like take it as it comes, right? So
Mm.
like be like confident, but don't be um like over ambitious, just like take what comes.
Mm.
And if it makes you excited, then kill it. If not, then you know, but don't be so bold as to be like, well, blah blah blah. I'm gonna pass this deer. Just, you know, I like to shoot stuff, Nate, and
Oh yeah.
that's the. And it's funny that because you say like I've been so close so many times, and I joke around like being a voyeur about this stuff, but at the end of the day, like it's all about for me the story, the adventure, the whatever, and sometimes that has to end with bringing something home. Otherwise, it's just a
Memory.
sightseeing.
Dude, those bucks are burned in my brain, Adam. I can't help it. All those close opportunities on those deer that you see, and like I missed one in Kansas. That thing kind of haunts me a little bit. Like I'm just looking for a buck like that, and I had it, and I whiffed, and I've whiffed before, and or you see one and you can't get close enough to take a shot. It's like, man, I was 20 yards away from being able to make a shot, or those things are what I really enjoy, and those are memories in my head. But I do get what you're saying, like enjoying the moment with your friends and going on the blood trails and packing a deer out together, and all those things are important too. So there's a balance there.
Well, what's funny is like you say that like you're like that one haunts you, like how like you it's like burned into your brain or like la da 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 da. Um, you know, uh, and it up until this point, like up until you said that, like it never really dawned on me to like look at it from this perspective. But that first deer last year in Kansas, you know, how I would say like, oh, that deer haunts me, or like, oh, you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But it's way different than what you just said, right? Just because like we won, like, I just cared enough about the animal not to take the shot. And I feel like my choice, like what haunts me, is like my like equipment choice, or like what, you know, what was like, had I made it, you know, maybe I should have shot, maybe I, you know, if I would have picked a different arrow out of my quiver. But you know, when we talk about like what do we love about bow hunting, like we freaking, I mean, there was 2 of us within, you know, I don't know, 20 feet of this deer. I mean, we on the ground, like we won for sure. So it wasn't like, oh, what could I have done differently? Like, you know, from that aspect of it, you know, cause I mean, I could have severely wounded that deer, but the fact, the what happened after that was anybody's guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, for sure.
You
No,
know.
I think, yeah, definitely different. Like how you feel about that encounter is a little different than what I'm probably feeling. But man, I've had like just opportunities like that. It's like everything. Yeah, like you get within bow range of a deer that's older or whatever you're excited to shoot. That is half the battle. Like you have to get within bow range, and you can, that is a victory. But also it's like I always try to pride myself in the fact like all I have to do is just get one in range and I can make it, I can seal the deal. That's just what I feel like. And then I don't, always, doesn't always happen. And I got a couple deer that's like, man, I would have, if I would have just done this a little differently, or if I didn't drop my release in the creek and use my backup release, I probably would have, maybe I would have killed that deer, and Kansas would have been a lot different. Or if I didn't try to bump a camera with my bow one year, I would have not shot over a back at a buck at 27 yards, or, all these little things that like I think about and are in my brain, haunt me, quotations. It's like I just think about those things like, okay, how can I, become a better hunter because of that? And maybe if I'm ever dealt with a situation like that again, what can I do to seal the deal? And I think that's just how I always will be, and that's why I love it so much, because those things I just think about. Um, I've had, yeah, I've had some heartbreak moments. I've had some wounds. I've had some of those things a lot of guys can reflect on, and you hate it, but I always try to learn from it. And I know now that my backup release, I am actually going to shoot it throughout the year to see how different it is, instead of just being like, oh, it's a wrist strap, it should be the same. Like I need to know so then I can check that. So I mean, all these things that you think about, it's like, hey, what can I get better on? And I can promise you, Adam, like there's a couple deer that I seen in Kansas that I'm gonna go look for again. See if they made it. See if they're alive. Like I'm intrigued by that, and that's what I'm really excited to see if I can locate some of those deer again. Like I get a kick out of that stuff, man. I love seeing old bucks. I love seeing, the mature deer that are king tut and try to kill them. That's just what I like, man. Can't help it.
Well, I can't wait to hear about it. Can't wait to see and, you know, be hopefully be part of this tear that you're about to go on. I'm here for it, but we'll see.
Are
So
you pulling for me, or are you betting against me?
I, the only person that's going to get in your way is you, and you're going to make excuses about why it wasn't big enough, or why it wasn't named right, or you thought
Oh
the
gosh.
wrong one, or whatever. You're
Excuses.
your worst.
Jeez.
You're your worst enemy. You know, shooters gotta shoot, Nate. They don't.
Dude, I kill a lot of stuff, man. You make it seem like I don't kill anything, dude. I punch
I
a lot of
know.
tags every year.
Oh
Come
yeah,
on.
I
Come
forgot.
on now.
If you don't shoot all the does, you're part of the problem. I forgot.
Amen.
All right, dude.
Thanks, Adam.
Yep. We'll see you. Everybody tune in live next Wednesday for Rome at the NRC meeting. We'll start a GoFundMe for Nate's new computer to make sure.
Yes, please.
Get that
June
up
10th.
and running.
Rome
June
Syndicate.
10th, Rome Syndicate, YouTube. Follow along. They'll have the comments turned on, so you can follow along. I think they're going to have the Beefcake crew there.
Beefcakes.
Havoc. And yeah. So, anyways, thanks, Nate. Follow along with Rome Syndicate, Rome Podcast, and us here at the Bowhunter Chronicles. Thanks, guys.